This is the St. Anthony of Padua channel, and today I want to look at another passage which supports the teaching of purgatory. And that passage comes from 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 19 and 20. And in this passage we read, it says this. It says, "In which also coming he preached to those spirits that were in prison, which had been sometime incredulous when they waited for the patience of God in the days of Noah, when the ark was a building, wherein a few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water." That's a reading from the Dewey Rames. And I think this is an interesting text. I think it is a little bit mysterious, a little bit odd, and I would think that Protestants reading this might be a little confused as to what it's referring to. I've heard not many, but several opinions. But let's just look at the details here and show how it supports the notion of purgatory. All right, it says here, it says in verses 19 of 1 Peter 3, "In which also coming he preached to those spirits that were in prison." He, of course, is our Lord Jesus Christ. And the spirits, or the souls that were in prison, who were they? I want us to look first that it says that our Lord went and preached to souls in prison. Okay, so this is showing that in the realm of the dead, I guess, that this, wherever this prison is, like where is this prison? What is this prison? It's like it references in verses 20. It gives an indication of some of the people that are there in this prison. When it says that which had sometime been incredulous, they waited in the patience of Noah when he preached to them. They were unwilling to hear the preaching of Noah. So we'll get into who those people were. But we see here that our Lord went and preached to particular souls that were in prison. When did our Lord do this? Okay. Our Lord did this at his death, when he descended into hell, as the creed says. He descended to hell, and the third day he rose again from the dead. Now, I'm not going to go into and defend and teach the doctrine that our Lord descended into hell and preached to those souls down there who were in the limbo of the fathers, who were there awaiting their redemption. It's the same place that the thief on the cross went when it says, "This day I'll be with you in paradise." Well, that day the thief did not go to heaven. He went down to the limbo of the fathers, as we call it, or paradise, and he awaited the redemption. We see in Matthew 27, I think it's 52 and 53, that at Christ's resurrection, many of the saints arose out of their tombs with their bodies, and they went among the people of Jerusalem. So our Lord ascended to heaven and led captivity captive, as I think Ephesians says, that he gave gifts to men. So our Lord descended into hell. He didn't descend to the hell of the damned, because they're damned. He ascended into hell, into a place of hell that was not for the damned. It was a place of hell where the saints of old awaited the redemption. And we kind of see this in the parable with Lazarus, that Abraham's there. Lazarus is in hell. There's a section of hell known as the limbo of the fathers, or Abraham's bosom, which was a type of a prison. And within hell, there was also this place of purgatory, which is prison. So we have to ask ourselves, what is this place that Christ went down to the spirits in prison? Remember, if you've listened to the videos I did prior, I mentioned the verses where our Lord said that we need to make peace with our adversary in the way. Otherwise, he will be cast into the prison where we'll pay the last mite at the judgment. It's the same place, okay? This prison is not heaven, because heaven isn't a prison, okay? It's not hell, because our Lord doesn't go and preach to the damned to bring them redemption, okay? So it's a third place. Okay, so we have to give an account for this. So we see our Lord went and preached to those souls that were in prison. And in prison, of course, implies a sense of either they're captive there for a while. It could be a place of punishment. So we see that in this third middle ground, there's this third area where our Lord went and preached to those souls in prison. And then it says, who were sometime incredulous when they waited for the patience of God in the days of Noah. So who are these people that he preached to? That specifically here referring to in this text. This text isn't going into all the details of what our Lord did when he descended into hell, but he mentions these particular individuals who were in the prison there, because St. Peter is going to talk a little bit about Noah and baptism and how that relates. So he does mention these particular souls. And some of the fathers have mentioned that these souls were those who converted at the time of Noah, after the ark was being built and the rain started to come and God shut the doors of the ark, that these individuals converted and turned to God. And they were saved from eternal damnation, but they were not saved from the deluge. So when they died, they went to this place of prison where they waited their redemption like everyone else who was saved. That's who they were. They were incredulous, but they turned on their deathbed, basically. So sometimes I'll use this text. People ask, where's purgatory in the Bible? Where's purgatory in the Bible? I'll look at 1 Peter 3:19 and 20 and just say, what is this prison our Lord is referring to? Okay? What is this place? It's not heaven. It's not hell. Can't be hell. Our Lord didn't preach to the damned. It can't be heaven because heaven's not a prison. So it's got to be something. So what is this? And how do you account for it in your Protestant theology? No, they don't. It doesn't have any meaning. It has no value. It's an obscure reference. But that's why we have our church. That's why we have our Catholic Church, to reveal to us the truth and to connect these odd passages together for us. We don't have to try to figure it out and just be like, what's going on here? So I just want to make this sort of a quick video to show that this passage also does reference purgatory. Although it doesn't get obviously in all the details of purgatory, but it just shows that there is this place of a prison, which our Lord referenced in his passages that I referred to in the previous videos I did of this prison. And that prison is here, where people awaited God's redemption. So I'll just look at that and see that this particular passage speaks of a third place, a place of prison. Ave Maria.